Okay, we are going to begin the service officially, if we may. And I will begin with the ringing of the Kansho. I will return from ringing the Kansho. After ringing the Kansho, I will pretty much immediately read the names of those on our Shotsuki Hoyo list for August. And of course, we're also going to hold in mind the Genbaku victims, the victims of the atomic bombings in Japan on August 6th. Yesterday was the commemoration, and August 9th. But beyond that, we're also going to think of our friends, personal friends that passed in the month of August. Beginning with the ringing of the Kansho bell. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Gibutsu, Namo Datsu, Namo Gibutsu, Namo Datsu, Namo Gibutsu. Again, if I may mention, we also hold in mind those who were victims of the atomic bombings in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But if I may read the names of our friends and family who passed in the month of August. Firstly, Akita Sawako, Arai Fumio, Arashige Matsumi, Babaoka Misako, Fuji Ruth Reiko, Fujimori William, Fujimoto Edward Hitoshi Fuzzy, Fujitaki Tom Takashi, Fukumoto Ritsu, Furumoto Fusae, Goto Chiyoso, Hamada Hiroshi, Hamano Yukie, Harabe Mikio, Hayashi Mika, Igegien Catherine, Ito Haru, Kamoto Hoichi, Kawahara Kumataro, Kawamoto Aki, Kawamoto Rikizo, Kawamoto Toshiko, Kawasaki Toshio, Kikawa Robert, Kimura Kiwa, Kitani Kazuo, Kobayashi N, Kobayashi Kenjiro, Konishi Hisato, Konishi Jo, Konishi Kanichi, Koro Hakomi, Koro Kotaro, Mikiuchi Osamu, Marumoto Satsu, Masumoto Kunizo, Matsumura Shima, Miyagishima Mariko, Nakamoto Hatsuyo, Nakano Hansuke, Nakano Hansuke, Nakano Miyako, Nishiyama Izumi, Ogawa Kameichi, Ogawa Kansaburo, Ogawa Michio, Ogura Kazuko, Okada Kuni, Okada Ryoko, Onishi Ikuo, Oshita Aki, Otani Atsushi, Otani Junichi, Otani Shizue, Oyama Kansaburo, Sakahara, Mei Yaiko, Sakai Miyako, Shigeno Kazue, Shimura Kunisuke, Shinmoto Miyokichi, Shubo Itsuyo, Sogi Otomatsu, Sugasawara Hanzo, Sunara Kazuaki, Takenaka Kenichi, Tanigawa Tamayo, Azawa Masaichi, Tsuchiya Koto, Umeta Suyeno, Umeta Suyeno, Yahara Fusakichi, Yamaguchi Gozo, Yamamoto Kiyoshi, Yamane Kamekichi, Yoneda Hitoshi, Yoneda Keiichi, Yoneda Yuku, Yonesawa Kyoko. Namo Midabutsu, Namo Dabutsu, Namo Dabutsu, Namo Dabutsu, Namo Dabutsu. I will now ask you to join me in the chanting of the Sanbutsuge. Namo Midabutsu. Namo Dabutsu. I think it's page 33, but I gave my book away yesterday, so. Namo Midabutsu. Namo Dabutsu. Namo Dabutsu. Namo Midabutsu. Namo Dabutsu. Busatsu, Daimuryo, Jukyo, Sanbutsuge, Kogen Gigi, Ijin Mugoku, Nyode, Enmyo, Muyo Tosha, Ichigaten Mani, Shuko Enyo, Kaishten Nonpei, Yunyaku Jumoku Nyorai Yogen Chose Murin Shogaku Daion Koru Jippo Kaimon Shojin Dammai Chie Itoku Muryo Shusho Keiu Jintai Zennen Shobuten Hokai Ujin Jinno Kungon Gaitai Umyo Yokunu Teson Yomu Minno Shishi Jintoku Muryo Fukun Kodai Chie Jinmyo Komyo Itho Shindo Daisen Sanga Sabuten Taisho Ho Kado Shoji Mihu Gedaten Fute Joi Kainin Shojin Nyose Sammai Chie Ijo 고세 독구부튼 부교 시간 일사의 크크 일사 다이언 캐시 우부튼 다크센 노구만 무려 다이쇼 춘영어자 구요 일사의 시토쇼부튼 춘여구도 켄쇼 흑약구 인영어자 쇼부튼 색깔 우후하게 무슈삭도 고묘시쇼 켄시쇼 kokkunyo대 쇼진 이진난려 yoga sabutn kokdo daichi oshu kimyo dojo chozatn kokunyo nayon nimu toso gato aimin nodatn isai jippo laisho shinnetn shoujo ito ga koku keiraku annon kobutn shinmyo vega shinsho otsugan no hi rikisho shoyoku jippo seison chie muge doryo shison chiga shingyo keiryo shinshi shoku dokuchu agyo shojin ninju uke. Namanabu, 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 namananbu. Ganiya shikudoku, yodo sei isai, do Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. I'm going to ask you to stand now we're back in the temple building, and today we'll do the devotional reading prior to the song, although I know it's usually the other way. And our devotional reading today is the Golden Chain, which is on page 8 of the service book you have there in front of you, the OCBC Jodo Shinshu Seiten. So if you would stand as you're able, and after Kathy gives us the lead line, oh no, we don't need that for this. After I announce it, we'll just do it together. The Golden Chain. I am a link in Amida's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. May I be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. May I think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Butsu. Thank you, and now we'll do the song Hotoke Sama, which is on page 116. And people at home are going to be so grateful not to have to hear me sing alone again. Right? No, 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 Dhamma, Hotoke sama, watashi no suki na Dhamma, no, omune no yoni yanmarito, snugalete mitai, Hotoke sama, no, 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 Dhamma, Hotoke sama, watashi no suki na to sama no, otete no yoni shikarito, sugate mitai, Hotoke sama, no, 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 Dhamma, Hotoke sama, and in reverence I bow in the candlelight. I can see the image of Amida in a halo of light shining brilliantly. Thank you. Please join our show as you wish. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much. Please be seated as you are able. Well, at least it didn't droop down. So I'm going to lose the mask while I'm here about 40 feet from y'all. I'll put it back on before I come down. Thank you for joining us for this service, August 7th of 2022, our Shotsuki Hoyo service for the month of August. I am assisted as usual by Alan Goto and Kathy Kumagai, and my wife Kyoko Okura Gibbs did the flowers as usual. Put up the osonai for us. Our service is dedicated to those whose names we read earlier, those who passed on in the month of August, and also we must remember the victims of the atomic bombings in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. If you lost someone this month, in the month of August, please accept my sincere condolences. We lose people through death. We lose people we love. We lose people we care about. We lose people we love a lot. Yesterday would have been my mother's 106th birthday. I loved her a lot. I still do. Next week will be the 43rd anniversary of my maternal grandmother's passing. I don't remember which day it was, the second week of August. She was mean. I didn't like being around her at all. As little time around her as possible is the better. But you know, like most people, I didn't have a very happy childhood. Sometime when you're at a meeting of about 500 people, say, everybody had a happy childhood, raise your hand. You get three hands, you know. So I had a not exceptionally good childhood. I remember being about 10 years old and thinking, you know, I'm lonely, but I won't always be lonely. She's always gonna be lonely. My grandmother's always gonna be lonely until she's gone. I realized that at age 10, and I softened. Even though she was mean to me, I tried to be nice to her because I realized this lady didn't have much in life. I remember being with her and my parents and my sister around age 5 or so, coming back from some school carnival, and we walked through a parking garage, and my grandmother sees a car, I think it was like a gray Oldsmobile sedan, and she says, "That's a dignified looking automobile." And it struck me, age 5, a dignified automobile. People are, right? I mean, what's a dignified automobile? And it stuck in my mind, like, what would that mean? And I don't know, about age 12 or 14, I figured out what it meant. She didn't want the automobile. Just seeing the automobile and seeing it having this dignified presence in her mind reminded her of the dignity she didn't have, the dignity that life had taken from her. And I'm sorry she had such a hard life. She married at the age of 16 and was widowed at the age of 22, and with no job skills. And so it was hard. And so even though she was pretty consistently mean to me, I am sorry for her suffering, and I hope that there's a new life opening out for her where she'll have some of the fulfillment she needed. She'll have that dignity. So I cared about my grandmother, even though it would be dishonest to say I loved her strongly. I cared what happened to her. Most of our family we care about and love them. But I'll move on to another topic now, if I may. Totally different topic. And this morning I will speak with you about what is universal to all religions and what's specific, almost specific to ours, what's unique or nearly unique about Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. All religions cultivate reverence towards that which is perceived as worthy of reverence. That's what religion is, feeling that something's holy, worthy, deserving of our respect and caring. This is reverence, and religions teach us to feel reverence for the sacred. And they kind of leave out the profane. That's what isn't sacred. That's the word they have for what isn't sacred. We, in our religion, are a little different. Most other religions rely on a revelation of some mystery. We rely on a promise, on a commitment to the well-being of all living beings. That commitment is sacred to us, the Buddha's promise. That caring is sacred to Buddhists in the Pure Land stream of Mahayana tradition. Amida Buddha's promise to all is vast and expanding. Eventually, the promise of illumination will envelop all living things. Eventually, all are included in the realm of the sacred. This is our vision. This is the Buddhist vision. There is nothing that is intrinsically profane or worthless. There is no one who is irredeemably evil or profane. Everyone and everything is included in the Buddha's awakening. No living being left behind. You have to find a religion that's comfortable for you. We all grew up in the religion our parents took us to, but in the long run, you have to be comfortable with things. And this absolute inclusivity of Pure Land Buddhism is something that clicked for me because I needed that absolute inclusivity. Having come out of a liberal Catholic background, which those of you who don't know about it, they're extremely inclusive. As Christian, it's incredibly inclusive, but it still has to stop somewhere. We don't. Every living thing is worthy of our respect, our reverence, our caring. This is our vision. This is the vision that we try to carry forward. No living being left behind. This inclusiveness is a distinctive aspect of the Pure Land stream of Mahayana Buddhism. I'm not saying no one else is inclusive. I'm saying the vast inclusiveness that we have is somewhat specific to us. And I was going to say, I needed this kind of vision because I had two recurring nightmares, two recurring dreams throughout my childhood. And one of them is the typical one, you've had it. Someone's trying to get in the door and you don't know who it is, and you, oh, gotta go find out who it is. I had that dream so many times, it was so scary. But the other one wasn't scary at all. And this dream, only a little Catholic boy would have this dream, that this dream is where I confront Satan and I convince him he's not really evil. I said, oh, you're just emphasizing the dark side, you know, and Jesus on the light side, and it's really all one thing. In my dreams, I convince Satan he's not evil. So I need this kind of inclusiveness, and indeed, he's on our boat too. Everybody gets on our boat who wants to be on our boat, on the way to the Pure Land, on the way to awakening. There may be other spiritual traditions as inclusive as ours, but I don't think I've heard of them yet. Not yet. Christianity offers salvation to the faithful, or the good and the faithful. I'm not sure which. It offers that, presents itself as having liberation for the faithful, or the faithful and the good, or the good. Judaism is salvific, or presents itself as so being, for devout Jews. Judaism is a culture and a religion, two things. It's not an ethnicity. There are people who are ethnically Jewish who aren't religiously Jewish, and there are people who are religiously Jewish who aren't ethnically Jewish, but they participate in the culture. You have to know the culture. So it's not for everybody. It's for people who want to join that culture. That's who Judaism is for. We have this vehicle leading us into the light, and we want everyone aboard. We are inviting everyone aboard this vehicle, which is carrying us into the light. I want to quote a couple of Shinran's poems, so excuse me for mixing the metaphors here. Actually, I'll read 4 of Shinran's poems. Firstly, the light of wisdom exceeds all measure, and every finite living being receives this illumination that is like the dawn. So take refuge in Amida Buddha, the true and real light. So work in this image of light very strongly, Shinran Shonin. And all things in the world are said to be finite. It's interesting to see here where he's translating from Chinese to Japanese, and now we're being translated back to English. So he has a note telling us what the original Chinese was. And the original Chinese is immeasurable, but he chose finite. He chose to use finite. But actually it is immeasurable. It is measurable. This is something, measurable beings are invited onto the boat. All things in the world are limited, and hence they are said to be finite, literally subject to quantification. And the light of wisdom that exceeds all measure includes every finite living being. The second section I'll read here, they're short. The second poem I'll read for you is, and I wish I could chant this. Some of you know how pretty this sounds in Sino-Japanese chanted, but I can't do it. But the liberating wheel of light is without bound. Each person it touches, it is taught, is freed from attachments to being and non-being. So take refuge in Amida, the enlightenment of non-discrimination. Now, this is something only Shinran did. I never saw another author in the world that does this. He writes poems in a foreign language, translates them into his native language, and then comments on them. You know, usually no one else would do that, no one, but he does. And so he wants to tell us that everyone who's touched by the Buddha's light is freed from attachment to being and non-being. He wants to tell us that because that's the official line. But he knows that's abstract as heck, and we don't know what it means. And that's why in his comments he says, freed from attachments to being and non-being is to part from wrong views. In his own commentary on his own poem, he says, what I mean is you let go of the wrong views. And you know, wrong views hurt us. And wrong views make us hurt others. Wrong views make us crazy. You've all heard me out of this view of psychosis, as we might say. People who really lose it, there's 3 causes. One is physiological. You got a tumor or a glandular imbalance, can't be helped. Another is severe childhood trauma, people who are locked up in the closet for too long with weird Uncle Harry. But the third one is holding strange ideas that you know at some level aren't true, you know. It drives you crazy. If you're telling yourself one thing and another part of your mind knows something else. You know? So that's why we need to let go of wrong views. And there's a lot of wrong views, and the one wrong view is that only the good people go to the light. The light includes everybody on our view. Give up that view where you're taught that only good people are rewarded. We're all rewarded, but not at the same time. If you turn toward the light, you're rewarded rather quickly. Otherwise, it could take a while. But there's no ultimate negative destiny for anybody. You either spin or you wake up. Those are the only two things that living beings spin meaninglessly or wake up. One more of Shinran's poems, if I may, if I can find it. Oh, two more. Okay. The cloud of light is unhindered, like open sky. There is nothing that impedes it. Every being is nurtured by the light. So take refuge in Amida, the one beyond conception. And his comment on his own poem is that because we are shone upon by this light, wisdom emerges in us. Last one, last Wasan, last poem of Shinran's that I'll read. The light of purity is without compare. When a person encounters this light, all bonds of karma fall away. So take refuge in Amida, the ultimate shelter. So Shinran here in these Wasan is repeatedly relying on light, not just as a metaphor, but as a model of what he's talking about. An imagistic explanation, not just a metaphor. An imagistic explanation of how we are illumined, of how we are liberated by the Buddha's awakening. All bonds of karma fall away, like shadows disappearing at noon. That's my metaphors, forget that one. All the karma falls away, all the negative karma. I warned you that we're going to mix metaphors this morning, so forgive me for that. So let me borrow a metaphor from Chinese Buddhism from about 1,500 years ago. Often this stuff, we read it in one place, like you've heard that Shinran taught the white path, and you heard that came from Shandao. That's what we teach. Actually, Shandao got it from Tao Cho, who got it from Tanluan, who got it from Nagarjuna. But we don't read that text, that it came from way back from Nagarjuna. So anyway, that's why I say about 1,500 years ago, we get this from Tanluan again, the great master. But I think it was a widespread metaphor in Chinese Buddhism at the time. And metaphor is to look at your karma as being this immense boulder, this huge thing that's so heavy. So imagine there's a boulder, say, weighing 100,000 pounds. Are you going to be able to shoulder that 100,000-pound boulder and get to the Pure Land with it? Could you move it to the other shore? Well, sure. You just need a big enough boat. And those cruise ships that nobody wants to go on anymore? Just dig them out, take up all the rooms out, clean them out, remodel it. That thing will hold a 100,000-pound boulder. It will. You just need a big enough boat. And the boat, to push the metaphor, the vehicle of Amida's vow is vast and powerful. It will carry all our karma, no matter how bad it is, no matter how burdensome our past acts may be. This vehicle of Amida's vow will carry us with our karma to the other shore. The Buddha's vow will take us to the shore we need to go to. Our karma will not obstruct our entry into the nirvanic realm of light, which is Amida's pure land. Our entry into the nirvanic realm of light, which is Ojodo, Sukhavati, will not be impeded. Our karma cannot hold us back. We will see all living beings enter this realm of goodness and truth, even as that realm reaches out to include them. The light includes them, they enter. One day, they will all enter, all living beings. One day, we will be able to have respect for all aspects of reality. You can't be too sweet about it. The Keigon people, the Keigon tradition for a while in Japan had this tradition of let's walk down a path and anything you encounter, any object, you bow down to it on all fours because that's a manifestation of reality. Well, that included things like dog droppings, you know. And so some of the other Buddhists said, "Oh, look at he's bowing down to a dog dropping." No, that's deep, isn't it? They stopped doing that because that's a conceit. That's a conceit. Our hearts are open to everyone. We can't include everybody. There's people you don't like, people you don't want to spend the whole day with. People like my grandmother, who it didn't break my heart if she didn't make it to Thanksgiving dinner that year, you know. But I didn't mean her any harm, and I hope she's well now. One day we'll be able to have respect for everyone and all aspects of reality, but right now we have limited ability. Just let that window open out a little. Include a few more people, include a few more animals, include a few more living things as you go forward within the realm of that which you respect, that which is worthy of your respect, that which you treat with reverence. Other religions usually tell you to be reverent toward their concepts of God and law and man. Buddhism is harder. We ask you eventually to be reverent towards reality itself, all living things. Our reverence, our respect is directed to reality itself. Among our ways of expressing reverence are Kansho and saying the Nembutsu aloud. So in closing the Dharma message portion of the service, may I ask those who don't mind to just now to join me in saying the Buddha's name a few times. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Da Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo. Thank you very much. I'm going to put my mask back on. Make sure the incense, I'm going to have to reignite the incense. No. So we will have the announcements to close the service, and Kyoko and Ren and I are going off on vacation for 5 days starting tomorrow. We're going to St. Louis, Missouri, where they have flooding, because we missed Hurricane Katrina, so we're going to start this disaster trip. But for reasons that we don't even know, we're going to St. Louis, Missouri, other than we can meet our son there. So I will be out of the office for this week. I'll be back doing Tai Chi the following Tuesday. Anybody wants to do that with us? 1 o'clock Tuesday and Thursday. And I'll be here we'll be here for a service again the first Sunday in September for our Shotsuki Hoyo. Actually, I can talk forever, but Kathy and Alan have to have a break. So we're going to take off the service portion of our events until the first Sunday in September. But I'll be here Tuesday and Thursday for Tai Chi, except for this week. And you're always welcome to drop by and talk, chat with us. Anybody have another announcement? No, I don't. No. Okay, well, I think that's it for announcements. We are very pleased to join us in this service this morning. I will close with our show. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life, Momo.